Fur. It's very expensive these days, and the question on everyone's mind is, how do I impress the nobles at the gala? And here today I will show you how you can make your own fur cost effectively. Greetings, chromatic road dogs. I've been on one lately, customizing. I'd like to have an entirely customized army one day to take on all games, but that is for another video. Today I'm focusing on my Goliath gang. I found the models themselves to be a little too lumpy and clumpy. As I replaced the standard gaming models with more suitably badass figures, I found myself sculpting some fur to cover the joins. I myself often fantasize about a fur shawl and large muscles just like these warriors. We will talk about all that is the shawl. First, I want to talk about green stuff. There are a lot of putties out there to use. Today I'm using Kneadite, nicknamed green stuff. It is made of a yellow and a blue stripe. The blue is your stiffening agent. The yellow is your stickening agent. If you mix more of the yellow, you will create a softer, more sticky, pliable putty, and more of the blue will give you a firmer result. You're also going to see me just smoothing the putty out. It might look like magic. I'm dipping my tool into some water. I've heard of people using spit to smooth things out, a little bit of chapstick or, similar cream, some Vaseline. I'll just be using water if there's ever a question as I'm sculpting. Finally, remember to give each step its proper amount of drying time. This is the challenge. It's hard to put something down for a day and come back to it and be excited about it, but it will come out looking better in the long run, just letting every little step fully dry. Okay, shades of hobby. That's the cue for the tutorial to begin. First of all, I'll be rolling the putty flat with my hobby knife. You can see it's just a nice metal cylinder. Unsticking it, dipping it back into the water, just kind of rolling out my dough, flipping it, and rolling it. After letting this dry for a moment, give it maybe 15 minutes, I'll take my blade, cut up a section. The blade will give me a nice straight edge. That is why it's important to let things dry to a certain amount. You are playing with the varying density that will be achieved. Now, chromatic road dog, after it is dried for about 20 minutes, distress the edges, just tugging at it here and there. I want this to look irregular, rough, sumpy, very necromundish. So rip it up a little bit. And even after it's fully dry, I will go back in there and use the knife to sharpen up the edges. Here, this doesn't have too much play on such a tiny object, but it is worth noting that this is a step in the general sculpting process, using the knife to sharpen up what you've created. Now we get into the fun part. First, applying some fresh putty. Once you have an even layer of that pasted down, take that knife and carve a diamond pattern across the surface. Note the size of the diamonds here. It is a factor. Scale is a factor. You're going to have to see this played out, but just be mindful, my friend. Notice the size of the diamonds. Following that, make some slight indentations at the top of the diamond, keeping your tool wet so the putty isn't pulled away, but just creating a gentle indentation right at the top of that diamond. Magnificent! Working from one side to the other, make very small vertical indentations to create a waving form. And the specific kind of zazz you want to be using on this is the zazz of pen pressure control. Do not press too deeply or the indentation will go right down to the model. You don't want to create some hack job. You're creating tufts of fur. They're going to descend at the top of the diamond, and the texture will be much lighter and painted in a mid-tone towards the bottom as it begins to hang and turn into bitty clumps. Zazz. Dig deep. Once again, you need to use more zazz. I want to go in and manipulate the lower tip of all those diamond bits. Now you can see kind of pulling at those, getting them to protrude, continue to waver, as luscious hair often does carry a bit of a wave. This is something you need to concentrate on. It is not a recipe for baking. We are cooking, you know, you are zazzing. Finally now, to polish it off, I will go back. Just like with painting, there can be a back and forth and correctional nature to your sculpting. I want to go and make sure those indentations at the top of the diamonds are their most indented. And I would say, again, keep your thread count low. It's going to be tempting to, you know, I know in real life that my head contains hundreds of hairs, but when I sculpt it, I kind of want to look at the larger globs. So considering that, apply it to the way your fur looks. Now, yes, we are gathered here to conclude the ceremony. Thank you for taking this ride. I do so enjoy some brutal bashing and wild men covered in fur. It takes a stable hand and patience to sculpt well. And I'll have to repeat this as I add to my gang. Maybe I'll have to go and rewatch this video. I sculpt fur from time to time, but yeah, I'll have to be doing it a little more often so my Goliath stay warm. Being shirtless Necromunda can vary the body temperature. Thank you for your support. Please let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. It's always nice to take one of these specifically targeted tutorials and add it to the ever-growing encyclopedia. So, until we meet again, my friends, on down that chromatic trail, remain unchained.